Michael DiLeonardo, also known as Mikey Scars. The government says he's a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family.
No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I got this guy from protection here today. I had to bring him back.
You know, I know the topic of today's show, and it made me think, is that why you brought him back?
Yeah, it's good. You have to. I need protection.
Well, Houston, the last time we talked about this, we were on this, a little bit of a Sammy subject. You said, I got this guy here for protection.
Victorian God.
Michael, we did a lot of talking about Sammy, a lot of talking about Louie, a lot of talking about all of the victims of Sammy. And there's no real good answer from anybody. Why? How does someone kill all their friends? But Louie Milito's especially a big question mark to people. Probably of all his friends, would you say that's the big question mark?
Friends. Brother-in-law excluded in this, of course, because Nicky wasn't involved in the mob at all. That was a personal issue between Gravano and Scabetta. But his friends, because Louie was more than a friend. Forget about even pinching the finger as a brother in that aspect. Louie was his brother. You're brothers until you're not.
Now, prior to Louie being killed, do you? I know you talked with Louie. You were friends with Louie. Did Louie? I asked you this before, but I want to ask it so it's in this show. You don't believe that Louie ever thought Sammy would actually kill him?
No, I believe Louie felt confident that whatever they had, whatever argument they had or disagreements, he never felt that Sammy would ever kill him. No, because Louie wouldn't have done that to Sammy.
Now, you said that this is the part I don't quite get, because you told me before that Louie and Sammy had a relationship kind of like John had with people, where nobody really pushed up against John too much, and there was nobody really, it was a lot of yes men around John. And
I'll have to give you a couple exceptions. And Angelo Gerio, of course, was an exception. They could go at each other alone. Fuck you each other. Jeannie could do it with John. And there's certain guys that John was that close. Like when I had friends and other guys who have friends, you get in a room, you could disagree and go at each other with nobody around. You may be mad, you may bristle a little bit, excuse me, over it, but you're still your brother.
Does Sammy have anyone like that around him that can fuck you him?
No, as history shows, no.
But you don't think Louie had any fear of Sammy? He didn't fear him?
No. And I'll tell you why in one aspect. Louie was the real tough guy in that life. Louie was the one who did the work. Louie was the one who listened to Sam every time somebody had to get clipped. It was just about Louie doing it. Louie did the dirty work. Louie was very, very good at it. And Sammy knew how good he was at it. Sammy was fearful of Louie's propensity for violence and callousness when he had to kill. So it was a little difference. Louie was comfortable in his skin. Sammy was not, as history shows it again.
And I guess the big elephant in the room is, isn't there enough information? Wasn't there enough information on that Sammy will kill his friends and kill people close to him that Louie really should have? It's the same question with John. John seeing all the things that Sammy did to his friends would make you wonder, why would John trust him? And Louie seen it all too. That was to make Louie say, I don't trust this guy.
Yeah, but think about John. Look at all the bodies that were left in Sammy's wake. His own guys I'm talking about. John, still into 1990, was trusting Sammy till we heard those tapes late 89. That still made him the underboss. We talked about this with John. How didn't John see? He killed his brother, he killed his best friend, he killed all his other friends. He wanted to kill everybody. How did John not see that this guy's killing everybody he supposedly loves and loves him? Well, what's him for not killing me? John had to see that after a while, but it took a while again. The same thing with Louie. Look, don't forget, they got a relationship goes back since teenagers with the Rapists. You know, before the Rapists, into the Rapists. Who gets Louie transferred to the Gambino family? Louie. Who took him out of the fire with the Colombos? Louie. Who got him made, bringing him to Johnny Rizzo, and then Johnny Rizzo with Toddo? Louie. It's always Louie helping Sammy. That's why that false narrative, that smokescreen that he does, it's like he's looking in the mirror and sees Louie doing that to help him, not him helping himself or helping Louie. I got him made, then I had to kill him. That made me nauseous when I seen that. He got Louie made, and he had to kill him. It speaks volumes of this guy's evilness and deviousness. Louie did everything for you.
Did Louie ever speak to you or anybody about who died? The Bats died first before Louie, right? Or was it after Louie?
No, I think it was before Louie.
Before Louie.
May 88. No, he died after. I'm sorry. Mike the Bat died. I'm pretty sure 89.
Okay. But even if Louie had some kind of concerns, he's not going to voice them because he knows he's going to probably die.
Well, Louie's a man. He's going to speak his mind, especially to a childhood friend. And if you can't get into an argument with your childhood friend, I think you're going to get killed for it. He didn't think he would get killed for it. And as we go on here, and I'll tell you the argument that they had, he did get killed for it. So Louie underestimated Sammy's deviousness. Now, would Louie have showed up to go do a piece of work, knowing who was going to be there to do that work, if he didn't trust Sammy? No, he would have showed up, and if he would have smelled something, he would have started clipping people in that room. He did not. He was comfortable. And this is right after that argument that I'll explain.
So just so it's a matter of record for this show, all the stuff that's been put out there by Sammy, we heard the Sammy narratives on why Louie had to die. The Chico was very upset. Louie switched sides.
Let's stop right there. Let's take that point. Let's dismantle it again. Frankie dies April 13th of 1986. Right? Louie does a bid, comes back after they kill Paul. He's already in jail. Louie's in jail when they kill Paul in 85. Louie's finished up a bid, comes home. Frankie's already dead 2 years when Sammy decides to kill him. Frankie DeChico's ghost came back and haunted Sammy to kill Louie. That's a lie. It said that, according to Sammy, with the Castellan and Bellotti thing, they're dead. You still going to hold a grudge? Yeah, we know Sammy holds grudges, right? Everybody knows that. You can't step on his toe. I use that analogy all the time. So, you know, he puts all these things as an excuse to the families out there, to his own family out there. It's not my fault. To the government, to the rest of the mob. It was all Louie's fault. But that was ancient history already. All those plays, Frankie, Paul, Tommy, dead. He's in Sammy's care now. Sammy became the consigliere. Sammy then becomes the underboss 90 after Louie's gone. But Sammy was the one in position for all the Brooklyn guys, for sure, especially Louie Milito and the rest of the guys around.
And all the stuff about Louie switching sides, going over to be with Paul, dumping their businesses that they had together to be with Paul. And if Louie was on the street, you know, the Chico screaming, this guy would have been with them, blah, blah, blah. He could have ruined the whole thing. We could all be dead.
Yeah, I know. First of all, you got to tell somebody. If you didn't trust them, how's he going to ruin it if you don't tell him you're going to kill Paul and Tommy? Where's he got a crystal ball? You don't send out a memo. You're going to kill Paul and Tommy. If they didn't trust him, they would have never told him. So how's he going to go tell Paul and Tommy? Ridiculous. But he was in prison. Again, that's another thing. Louie did several bids, right? Louie was on trial with Sammy for a double murder that they did not commit. And they beat that case. Louie's in it. Sammy talks about with him. There was other guys there too. There's two other guys. There's four of them were pinched. Louie stood up then, went to prison twice after that, stood up then. He was gangster. He was Malandrino, for sure.
All right, so the information, I just wanted to put it out there because we went through it. So I'm not going to go through, read all the quotes again, but I just want to, on a matter of record, that your position is all that stuff is BS. The whole Sammy narrative is a lie.
Like every other victim that he killed. It's to cover him. It's the same beat of the drum. It's look at all the excuses. I know it's going to be a little redundant right now, but it is the excuses that Sammy puts out. How many times is somebody else going to do something wrong that they needed to die? Needed to die.
So you were on a murder that Sammy has said you weren't on, but you did testify to it long before Sammy said you weren't on it, long before we started the show. You were found credible. Again, government found you so credible that you're the most widely used out of anybody ever. But you were on a murder with Louie, with Sammy.
Yeah.
And Louie came to you. You're part of the inner circle now, XYZ. You were what you say, Louie considered you a friend?
Oh, my brother. Even though I wasn't made yet. I was going to be made. I told you about all the lists I was on. He was another guy championing my cause. And, you know, when I was told about the inner circle stuff, it was before Jack. It was, a matter of fact, it was in Plaza Suite that Sammy took over from Joe Butch. Sammy had a big piece of Plaza Suite. And that's where Louie had that conversation with me, with Sammy there in the vicinity. That you're now part of your inner circle. That was my introduction into that. So, and then I get put on the Jack murder with Sammy. Of course, Sammy lied about that. He's definitely, the guy's definitely something wrong with this guy. I mean, how could he said in one video, he saved my life. I should be really happy, right? He left me off. He could have got me a life sentence. So, look, Louie Milito was loyal to him. Louie Milito was very angry with him, which led to Sammy being very angry with Louie. They had a little falling out before. Yes. They broke up partners, 100%. That was beefs they had with them. You know, Sammy talks about they had to go on to Jersey and go on the lam because Paul was going to kill him. Well, he forgets one name. He forgets Louie Milito was the other guy who was going to kill Paul. Louie Milito shot the guy in Plaza Suite. Sammy didn't. They're two wise guys. They were made guys at the time who did what Sammy says, an off-the-record hit. Why do you put Louie Milito and put him in a trick bag? So that's how loyal Louie Milito was. If Sammy did not get permission from Paul or Toddo, he just put Louie put his life up for Sammy to get himself clipped, along with the other guys with the crew. They were associates. They didn't have no lobby to go see Toddo and kill somebody. They would have had to go through Sammy or Louie. So these are two guys that Louie put his balls up for.
So when's the first time Louie's ever expressed to you anger or frustration with, or disdain, whatever word you want to use, with Sammy?
He's really upset with Sammy over the Jack murder. Before that, he says he tried to talk to Sammy, give the guy a pass. Sammy has, as we know, the complete opposite story. And if you look at his videos, several of them he did about Jack and Louie with the car, who robbed the cars, Mike crew robbed the cars, Louie showed up with a stolen car. The guy don't even know what he's saying. He gets his own stories screwed up, as we've proved many times. So Louie was upset with him about killing Jack. No question. Not the other way around.
And why, I guess, is he upset at killing Jack?
Yeah, he thought he was killing the guy for no reason. Well, it was an argument. The guy had said something to Sammy in the bar, and Sammy felt he needed to kill him for it. Now, Louie had nothing to do with that bar. Louie had nothing to do with that bartender. About stolen, first it was stolen goods, then he did something else. Sammy's got that story all screwed up of why Jack got killed. This why Louie went to him to get this guy killed. Ridiculous. Says it was over stolen goods. The next thing it was, Jack killed the guy. What is it? So, the guy's a profound liar. And I'm telling you, because I was there at that time, Jack got killed. I mean, there's nothing more I can say than that. How this relationship between him and Sammy really broke down. Louie didn't trust him as far as, killing his own guys, but he didn't think it would happen to him. No, this was like 83, this murder with Jack. Paul don't get killed 2 years later. And Louie's away.
Do you think Louie expressed that anger or frustration he had about the Jack murder to Sammy?
Oh, yeah. He did. Tell me.
And how did that conversation go?
It wasn't anger. It wasn't anger. Louie tried to talk him out of it.
Do you have a theory on why Jack was really murdered?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, but I'll discuss that later on when we talk about Sammy again. This is a Louie Milito video.
Okay. So, why? Why did Sammy kill Louie Milito? Straight like that.
Okay. It's something I was holding back, and I was hoping to get more things together about Louie and Sammy's relationship. But the more I thought about it, I don't have to lay too much groundwork. I don't think we need to go long into this. It became something that we talked about earlier. It came short. I think the shorter would have made this show about Louie, the more impactful it would have been. When Louie came home from jail, Paul's already dead. Sammy's concierge. Sammy puts big Lou Vallario in that position as a skipper of the crew. Now, that was a big slight to Louie Milito. You say, why? All the things that we talked about, everything we talked about. Lou Vallario, good guy, he was straightened out after Paul was killed. Toddo was never, for whatever Toddo's reasons were, would have never straightened out Big Louie. He held him back big time. He just had him, as John said on tape, serving coffee and getting things for Toddo. And running the club, running the card games for Toddo. That was it. While Louie serving coffee, again, no slight to Louie. I like Big Louie. And doing all this other stuff for Toddo, never going to be straightened out. Louie Milito's committing murders for the family. He leaves him off. Well, you don't leave him off. He gives him really no credit for the Johnny Keys hit. Sammy makes it. He's doing movies supposedly over Johnny Keys hit. Who killed Johnny Keys?
Louie. And Sammy confirms that also in his book.
Yeah. But why didn't Sammy do it? When the guy said, and Sammy said that guy's real Cosa Nostra, he felt bad and all this other nice stuff. Why didn't Sammy take the gun and him shoot the guy in the back of the head? Why do you give the gun? Here, Louie, you do it. Right? Louie deserved that position. 1,000%. Louie was slighted. He was angry about it. Then it got passed over for somebody who was serving coffee. He had a right to be annoyed.
Now, why, though? Why would Sammy? He understands the power Louie is and the power that Lou Vallario's not. And again, it's not a slight against Louie, but you know you're measured in Cosa Nostra by your resume or work.
Yeah.
By all standards, it's Louie Milito gets the job. So why, intelligent guy like Sammy, consigliere of the family, why would he put Lou Vallario there when you got Milito right here?
Well, we're going to get the eraser for what you just said. The word intelligent guy like Sammy, we take out intelligent off. Let's get the eraser. This race intelligent. He's not intelligent. He's cunning. He's devious. He knows the street. And the reason why he knows the street and Louie don't get it, it's again for all the reasons we just delineated and articulated here. Louie was a threat. He did not want to make Louie a captain. Louie had a lot of secrets about Sammy. Who knew Sammy better than Louie? Who could be controlled more? Big Louie. Louie will go get the car. Like he did. Louie will drive, Big Louie I'm talking about. Go get the car, go get this. Louie Vallario was a captain of a crew, Toddo's old crew that became Sammy's for a little while. Louie was he was a cigar store Indian at that point. He wasn't a captain of nothing. Sammy had the crew all the time. Sammy told the crew what to do. I know, I was there. Louie was just a figurehead. That's it. Lou Vallario. Could he have done that with Louie Milito? No. So Louie told us my crew. Not that he would have pushed back on Sammy like that. They still would have been extremely close. If he really wanted to pull Louie in the right way, he should have rewarded him. I got trust in you, brother. I'm going to give you this position. Don't screw up. If you really feel like he screwed up, don't screw up. So don't forget, Sammy's going to see it. Who's the captain? He's under him. He's under the administration. Why wouldn't you want to have a strong captain, great in sit-downs, ton of money, all these businesses? Sammy's looking at all that.
And one that has proven loyalty to you. Louie, it's one thing to be a strong captain that's a threat. Louie was a strong captain, Louie Milito I'm talking about, that has proven loyalty, been with you since the Rampers, came up with you. He never showed, to my understanding, unless you can correct me if I'm wrong, any reason to make Sammy think you can't trust me.
Yeah, again, it gives that narrative about Paul and Tommy. They're not there anymore.
Okay, I see your point on that one. Okay, that's a fair, and that would be Sammy's rebuttal. He fucked me and went with Paul because he saw which way the wind was blowing, and he went. That's what Sammy would say, even if he were to respond to this video. He would say, "Well, no, I did trust him and I loved him, but he went that way," and that's when the gloves were off.
Yeah, nah, and that's a lie too, because Louie Milito wasn't with Paul Castellano. He was with Toddo. Toddo was a skipper. You can't just go say, I want to go hang out with the boss. What happened? What did he do with Paul Castellano, Louie? What did he do?
Well, construction stuff.
Everything belongs to the boss.
Well, I think it was more that after the unsanctioned hit that was done off the record, Paul was theming, and Louie, to save his own ass and pull his own ass out of the fire,
okay,
attached himself to Paul.
All right, okay. He saved himself by, let's take that silly narrative that he spits out. How come they don't kill Sammy? He loves Sammy still? Don't forget. Sammy, you're the best racketeer, best gangster. What do you say? In front of all the other captives, all these murderers and big money guys. Sammy, you're the best. I thought he hated him. I thought he wanted to kill him. I thought he was insubordinate all the time, according to Sammy. But then other times he says he loved him. Paul loved him. Which is it? It's all a lie. So anything he says about Paul with this Tommy, take it all. Time passes. Years pass. Louie's mad. He didn't get to be the skipper of that crew. He deserved it. He let Sammy know he was pissed about it. So Louie finally loses his cool. I'm going to see Georgie DeChico on Bath Avenue one day. I pull up, and all the guys are outside the front of Georgie's club. It's off the corner on Bay 13 in Bath. As I get out of the car and walking across the street, I get on that corner. I see Louie and Sammy up the block, and they're really animated, loud, animated. So I'm walking up the block to go say hello, right? Georgie Chico goes, Michael, don't go up the block. Come over here. I stop. I walk over to George. I says, what happened? He said, Louie just called Sammy a cocksucker. They're going at it. Don't go up the block. We wait, standing outside. Louie and Sammy walk right by. You get in their cars and they take off. Louie had a focacceria on 86th Street. I go looking for Louie because I was close with Louie. Again, I would see him all the time. And I can't find him. And I'm looking another day. The day passes. I go looking for him another day. And I'm asking around the neighborhood, anybody see Louie? Somebody comes to see me one day and says, by George's club, says, Sammy wants to see you. Yeah, so I go see Sammy. And, it was just like any other day going to see Sammy. I thought maybe it was something about construction. Who knew what it was about? I go see him and I see he's got a different look on his face. And Sammy had this little thing that he would tap you like with his hand. He would tap you on your thigh. Come on, let's take a walk. Let's take a stroll, right? This time he didn't do it. He says, come on, take a walk. So we're walking, and I see Sammy had this aggressive walk. And the next time I see it, ironically, is in Lee Cole's video. That walk when he's walking over to the car, he shakes his arm. That walk was similar to the walk he had. That very aggressive, assertive walk, serious walk. And I'm looking at him saying, this guy's hot over something, So he's got his head down. He don't look up. He doesn't look up. And he goes, you looking for Louie? I said, yeah, where's this fucking guy? I've been looking all over for him. He goes, he's not around no more. So, these milliseconds you have to think. He says, you got a problem with that? When I don't look up, I don't look at him, I'm glancing, still got his head down. I said, Sam, it's okay with you, it's okay with me. Like this, you got to answer. He has his hand on my pulse. This guy would have clipped me if I gave the wrong answer. Don't forget, I'm not made yet. Not a word said, turned around, right back. No small talk, no nothing. Hung around a little bit, said hello to everybody that was hanging around, got my car, and I left. I says, he fucking killed him. He's gone. And, I said, at that moment, I'm saying, this guy tested me. He tested me to see if I had anything on my mind, if I would be upset. Say, he's gone. What, Sam, why? What happened? What happened? What did he do? Yeah, I didn't do any of that. You don't ask. If he wanted to tell me something, he would have. But the way he did it, I knew it was him. Not that John or somebody else clipped him, or he's been, where is he? He's missing. Like Paul, who killed Paul? The cops killed Paul. That guy's disappeared. Who knows? What do we know? No, it was him. And it was right instantly, the way he spoke to me. And no holds barred with this guy. He's got no soul. And it was from that argument. He called him a cocksucker. And that was it. Louie signed his death warrant. But Louie was a man. And you know what? All these movies that are portrayed and the way he talks about Louie like a secondhand guy, Louie was a man in that life. He was somebody that I looked up to. Somebody was like a prince in that life. Of course, I had many conversations with this man. He had no ego. He did not want to be boss. He wanted none of that. Never spoke in those terms. He downplayed who he was as a wise guy. He would smoke a cigarette like this. There's pictures. Somebody in his family must have. He's smoking a cigarette. He used to call him Sir Lowell Bennington. We would go out to a club. He didn't make himself Italian. He made himself an Englishman. He downplayed. He drove cowboy boots, jeans, cowboy hat at times he would go out with. He didn't play gangster. He was gangster. Sammy knew this. Sammy knew what ran through his veins. They grew up together. They went to beautician school together, don't forget. They started that far back. They did a lot of things, and Louie had a lot of secrets of Sammy's. And I'll not that I'll finish up, but these thoughts just come to me because it just brings me back to a time that I was really upset that this guy lost his life for principles. He was a principled guy. And I'll fast forward now. Just before Sammy gets arrested in the last case with John, Tommy, and Frankie Lowe, I go see Sammy. And with small talk, and he gives me that hit on the thigh. Let's go for a walk. Right? So we're walking, and small talk. He got his head facing down again. And he goes, I don't think I did the right thing with Louie. I says, here we go. Here we go. This guy's the underboss now. Here we go again. And again, I peer over and I look at him, but he don't have that stern, his arms ain't out. He don't have that aggressive walk. It's a stroll now. He goes, I don't know if I did the right thing with Louie. So I look over to him now and I go, Sam, did you feel it was the right thing at that time? He says, yeah. I said, if you felt it was the right thing at that time, then it was the right thing. He kept his head down. We turned around, we walked back, and there was no aggressive. If he got into where the other guys were, we all were talking again. It was a different Sammy. Now, could he have been testing me again? More comfortable in the skin, far removed from Louie's murder? Could he be testing me now? Now I'm a wise guy. Now I'm close with John Gotti, Sr. Or was he really feeling bad? I think, and I feel in my heart, he was testing me again. Just with a different disposition. So it may not be a big thing of this big culmination climax on why Louie got killed, but it's the little things, the little words that are said, or sometimes even unsaid, that could get you killed in that life. Sammy killed the most loyal guy in the street, took his life. A guy that was so close with his family that, as even Sammy says, would call Louie's daughter will call, Sammy will call her princess. His kids. And look at the way he talks about his family today. His daughter, his son, his is the widow of Louie Milito. So disparaging. The guy has no soul. And Louie Milito, rest in peace, wherever you may be. But that devil, maybe one day you'll see him. Yeah, they'll see each other. Louie ain't in heaven either. So maybe that one they'll see each other again.
So essentially, Sammy killed him over an argument.
Well, it's like in the Bronx tale. Did a guy get killed over a parking spot? Remember that scene? Little more than an argument. He knew Louie was really mad, serious, and couldn't take a chance that Louie may expose Sammy. Who knows what Louie and Sammy talked about after he came home? We only know what Sammy tells us. Maybe trusted Louie again a little bit too much. Who knows? Maybe he told Louie certain things he shouldn't have. Maybe he knocked John to Louie. Maybe Sammy told him, this guy don't act right. Frankie the Chico said, if he don't act right, we kill him. Right? Don't forget. These are Sammy's words. We could only figure what he said and didn't say to Louie Milito. I know what was said that day that pushed Sammy over the edge. He called him a cocksucker. And who knows what else he said to him in that argument. But he was dead within a week or so.
And you think even with that argument and calling Sammy the Bull a cocksucker, Louie still didn't think Sammy would go as far as killing him?
Nope. Two friends have an argument. He showed up to kill Johnny Gambino. But he was the victim. Hey, listen, I had several arguments with friends of mine, disagreement we're together. Fuck you. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Don't call me no more. Tear up my number. And the next day we're hanging out, having lunch. Friends do that. Family members do that. People you love, you can't forgive.
Just so I understand what you're saying by that walk. I remember when I called you about the Lee Cole Sammy. I said, Michael, I don't think this guy's joking. You see that guy's walk? I said this to you on the phone. I said he was walking like he had murder in his eyes, like he had a darkness behind him. And when it was like, it wasn't slow motion, the video. Lee Cole didn't slow it down, but Sammy was almost moving like in slow motion, like this. And he just like I don't know how to explain it, but you said to me, I saw that walk before. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, but let me just tell you something. You didn't know this story until right now. Right? And I told you that walk is going to mean something. I'm going to explain it one day.
I know. It might even be in that video. I'm going to go back and look, because when we talked about the Lee Cole Sammy infraction, I don't know if that's in that video or not, but I remember me and you having a conversation, but you did tell me I seen that walk before.
You know, the life is so treacherous that you need to hang on words. When you're in that inner circle, when you're in the political end of that life, you need to be measured and you need to be quick on your answers. I got fortunate. Whatever came, I have a quick mind, as you know, right? And thank God, that first walk, I had the right answer in that millisecond. There was no hesitation. And the second walk, I was sort of prepared that maybe one day he would revisit this. And he did. The devious little animal that he is, he might have had murder on his mind with me.
And you think it was because, did he say that to you when he said, I want to come with me, I want to talk to you? You got a problem with that? Do you think he was asking you because he knew you and Louie were friends and close, or because he knew that you were there and you heard what Louie said, or knew Louie him had an argument?
No, a lot of people heard it on that corner. People heard, other people at that club heard that on the corner. There's a picture I'm going to send to you to post. Exactly where they had that argument. You put it, you could edit it, put it in. Yeah, no, he was testing me to see if my loyalty was with him or with Louie, or if how upset I was. That's why I told him, if you're happy with it, I'm happy with it. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Now, Sammy's going to refute this, and he's going to come out, and he's going to come swinging when he hears this.
I don't think so. I don't think so. He killed him. He may not like what I said, that he called him a cocksucker. But sometimes people have trigger words that really put you over the edge. Maybe you don't like that word. So maybe he'll deny the argument. But why should he? Doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme. He took Louie's life. He wants to blame Paul Castellano? He wants to blame a ghost, the ghost of Frankie DeChico? Wants to blame John Gotti? Who's he want to blame? I told you that mirror. He looks in that mirror, there's something else he sees. Don't come back. There may be nothing in there. Nosferatu.
Well, guys,
you know what? Let me just say a couple other things, you know, in memory of Louie. The guy was a teacher. I was a younger guy for the neighborhood. And as we gotten closer, he told me about different wise guys in that life. He told me about the paper lions. I think I told that story once before. The fake guys that talk out of the side of their mouth, or with their hat, ace deuce, like this. All the fake guys, and he told me about the real guys. This guy was an inner circle guy. The inner circle guy. He was the Roy the Mayo of Toddo's crew. Toddo's crew had a long history. Toddo's crew always did work. Toddo got to who he was because he did work. Unbeknownst to Sammy, that he didn't know that Toddo clipped Tommy Rava in a turning point to the Gambino family could have led to an all-out war. He didn't know that story till we said it. And then all of a sudden his memory started to come around. But he said he didn't even know who Tommy Rava was on the show before we did that. So Louie Milito was great for that life. He followed orders. And when he wasn't doing things in that life, he was a regular guy. Loved to hunt. My ex-brother-in-law, Frankie Fabiano, and I went up this farm with him in Damascus, Pennsylvania. He had 100 acres of hunting land up there. Gorgeous. The stories. We went to Joe Polito from Gem Steel, old Gem Steel, who was with Louie, not with Sammy. Went to his house during hunting season also. Stayed there, cooked. Well, a lot of bonding. Again, the Italians with hunting during hunting season, throughout history would go to these farms and hang around. It was a bonding issue for everybody. And the laughs, he had this big, hearty laugh. And, his wit and his humor, I missed it. He's a good guy. That's why I was so upset how he just tarnishes his name after he's gone. Why didn't he give up the body? He don't know where the body is, but he could have got where it was. He didn't give up the body of his brother-in-law either. That I know he knows where it was. So this guy's unconscionable, and he took a good guy out of life. Again, I'm talking about murderers. I'm not talking about socialites, blue bloods, social register people. I'm talking about the world that I was in. That's good guys. The Alan Kaiser murder, there's still a big smoke screen on that. I would love to see the real 302s on that murder, on that homicide of that kid. I'd like to see the real ones on the actual ones of Scabetta. I'll say this again. When Sammy wanted me to do things with him when he first got home, these are the things that when I told him, he said, why don't you just tell the truth this time? You'll do really good. I told you he bristled. He got mad at me. What do you mean? These are the things I mean. It's the real reason why you killed everybody. Say the truth. You owe it to Louie's family. Princess. Imagine he still calls her Princess. I would talk to Princess now. Right. You threatened the mother. You threatened Louie's wife to go to Florida. You gave her $5,000 until they get out of the state. Go to Florida. Nice guy. All right, so she was a little wacky. Yeah. But her husband getting murdered and disappeared. I think they can make it even more wacky, wouldn't it? Father of their kids, their children. So Louie's memory, that life, and for his family, can't be erased from me and many others that are passed by Sammy Gravano's hand. I hope people come out, the families, and come out, because Sammy's come out accusing everybody. I think you should also come out and give him a shot right back again. I know people like to put things in the past and put it behind them, right? They don't want to revisit these things. They're very painful. But you know what? He's still creating pain and getting and profiteering over it. He talks about us and other people mentioning his name for views and hits. That's all he does, is mention Gotti and other people for views and hits. If he didn't have this podcast, where would he be right now? Look at the last time. He had millions. He sold ecstasy on the corner with his kids, his wife, and everybody else. He's a real disgraziato, DiLeonardo. Call me whatever you want to. I take it. I know what I did. So, in the memory of Louie Milito and everybody else, I'm here today.
Guys, we'll be live Saturday for a Q&A. I'm sure there'll be many questions. Thank you. Michael, close it out.
Yeah, you got me riled up now. I gotta go have a little vodka like nightcap.
Okay, there you go.
All right. God bless everybody. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this and bring closure to the story of why Louie Milito was really killed. And by Gravano's hand. Gravano. Remember, creates graves. It's in his name. God bless. Good night. Keep smiling.